Welcome to this overview of how blockchain can heal healthcare. In this talk, we'll frame 3 practical applications you'll see throughout the slides: protecting patient records with decentralized privacy controls, tracking pharmaceuticals through transparent supply chains, and improving clinical trials with verifiable data. Think of this as a map of where blockchain adds trust, privacy, and operational efficiency in healthcare. Let's cover the fundamentals in plain terms. A distributed ledger gives multiple parties a shared, synchronized source of truth without a central gatekeeper. Cryptographic hashing turns data into fixed, tamper-evident fingerprints. Consensus mechanisms let network participants agree on valid transactions. And immutability means once a record is written, it's permanent and auditable, which is critical for clinical trust and compliance. This MEDREC diagram shows how patient data sovereignty works. Clinical encounter hashes are stored on-chain, while the sensitive medical images and notes remain encrypted off-chain, giving patients control over who can access their records. Access requests are logged with an audit trail. Clinicians get the data they need when authorized, and repeated tests are reduced because provenance and permissions are clear and verifiable. Smart contracts let consent be automated and auditable. Here we embed coded rules, duration, purpose, and department, so authorizations are validated instantly without paperwork. Patients can revoke consent in a single transaction and grant researchers time-limited, dataset-specific access, creating a paperless, privacy-preserving workflow that reduces administrative burden while ensuring compliance with HIPAA and GDPR. The MGH pilot demonstrates secure imaging access using on-chain references. Imaging studies are referenced by unique IDs on the blockchain. Radiologists request access via signed queries. The source verifies signature and study hashes, and pixels are released directly to authorized viewers. The result is faster comparisons, no more CD burning, and a verifiable chain of custody for imaging data. High-quality AI needs diverse, private data, but hospitals are siloed. Blockchain-enabled federated learning solves this by moving encrypted models to local sites for training, then sharing only encrypted updates or gradients on-chain. That preserves pixel-level privacy while aggregating intelligence across hospitals, accelerating diagnostic accuracy, and enabling collaborative models without centralizing raw patient data. Traceability, from API plant to patient, creates accountability across the pharmaceutical supply chain. A permissioned ledger records time-stamped custody changes from manufacturing through wholesalers and hospitals, and QR or barcode scans verify pack provenance at point of care. This makes it easier to detect diverted or counterfeit stock, authenticate batches instantly, and protect patients with reliable provenance data. For vaccine integrity, IoT sensors and RFID feed real-time conditions into an immutable ledger where smart contracts evaluate thresholds automatically. If a temperature or humidity limit is exceeded, the contract flags the batch, halts payment, and can trigger a recall. If conditions are within limits, the shipment proceeds. This automation reduces waste, protects potency, and removes tedious manual reconciliation steps. Genomic data ownership can be reimagined with a decentralized model. Users sequence and encrypt their genomes, then tokenize the encrypted data, so ownership is represented by an NFT-like token. Researchers request access via smart contracts, paying donors directly, while audit trails reassure ethics boards. This approach gives individuals control, speeds research by removing intermediaries, and keeps a transparent record of consent and use. Blockchain can also strengthen clinical trials by recording real-time data registration, enabling tokenized participant rewards, and locking protocol amendments and adverse events into immutable logs. Micropayments and verifiable diaries boost retention and engagement, while transparent records satisfy regulators and rebuild public trust by making trial data auditable and tamper-evident. Practical limits exist: transaction, speed, storage scale, key management, and regulatory uncertainty. But there are clear steps to move forward. Start with pilots on permissioned ledgers in controlled environments. Ensure interoperability by integrating with HL7 FEAR APIs. Involve governance bodies early to set standards. and educate clinicians so promising pilots translate into bedside improvements rather than remaining buzzwords. A phased implementation reduces risk and builds momentum. First, identify high-friction sharing pain points. Form a multidisciplinary task force and select a low-risk pilot like credential verification or supply tracking. Define success metrics up front. Partner with compliant ledger vendors and only scale after security audits and measurable outcomes. This stepwise approach turns experimental gains into sustained clinical value.